In this video, I'm going to show you how to jumpstart a car using a rope, specifically the belt. Any type of rope could work, but since belts are tough and flat and usually in your car, they can be handy in an emergency. Now, I didn't want to chop up the belts in my own car just for demonstration, so I hit up a junkyard and grabbed a couple I could stitch together with some strong thread. But hey, if you ain't got thread or you're not into sewing, no worries. You can simply layer them together without stitching. Just overlap the ends of the belts by about 4 to 6 inches and stack them up parallel to each other for maximum strength. I used all the belts I could find, about 3 or 4 rows, and that did the job. But if the edges stick up a bit, just press them down with your hand or a hammer to make sure they're secure and won't snag your hands when you're pulling. Once you got your rope ready, whether it's stitched or not, you gotta lift the car. Look for a little tab under the chassis where the jack goes. Usually, you'll find one in the trunk. Jack it up, give it a few turns, and watch the car rise. Now you want to lift one of the front wheels off the ground. I usually lift the one closest to where I'm standing and turn it outward to make it easier to pull the rope. Then slam on the handbrake, pull hard on the rope, and stick the car in second gear. Next, turn the key to the ignition position. Sometimes it might spark up, sometimes not, but it's worth a shot before you go all out. Leave the key there without trying to start the car. Obviously, we're resorting to this because the car won't start conventionally. Now wrap the rope around the wheel. The more wraps, the better. I couldn't do it with just one belt, so I tried to keep it tight but enough to pull. You want to stop the wheel from spinning outwards, not just for convenience, but also to prevent the rope from hitting the bumper or getting tangled. Once the rope's snug around the wheel, pull as hard as you can. If you end up with the rope in your hand, it gives you more leverage. Turn the wheel to get the engine moving, hopefully sparking up the car. Now this can be pretty tough with a diesel engine, especially a big one. If it doesn't start in second gear, you might need to try a higher or lower gear, or you might just not have enough oomph. In my case, it took a few tries, but eventually it fired up. Now I gotta say, this might seem risky, and it kinda is. People worry the other wheel might spin, the car might run you over, or the jack might collapse. But cars have something called a differential that lets each wheel spin at a different speed, so one stopped and the other's turning. Hop back in the car, press the clutch, and throw it in neutral to stop the wheel from spinning so you can lower the car safely. To be extra safe, you might want to chuck some blocks behind the rear wheels in case the jack gives out while you're pulling the rope. Though usually, if the handbrake's on tight, the car won't go anywhere. Now, with the car started, throw it in first gear like you normally would and start thinking about getting a new battery, because if your car's not starting, there might be better ways than this, like using jumper cables or a starter. Push starting is really a last resort for when you're stuck without any other options. Overall, it's good to know these things, even if you never have to use them. Oh, and if your car's all-wheel drive, this method might not work the same. Most of them have different setups, so the process could vary. But hey, hope you found this trick useful. Stay safe out there and catch you in the next video.